All right, so I want to open it up. Highlights of these two.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Got him on the inside corner. Strikeout number 4. Striking out the side, Matt Willadsen.
All right, everybody. Episode 13 in the Bushes podcast. I got a really good one for you guys today, for you state fans out there. Dom Fritton and Matt Willadsen. I mean, probably the two best arms on the whole entire team, I would like to think. Guys that have been in here training with us, mainstays in the weekend rotation this past year. Matt, you've been there for a little bit longer than Dom. Have some records there, or on pace to break some records there. So really cool to have these guys in here, and your guys are lucky to be hearing from them. So let's start off. Sniper Willie, where did that come from? Well, give me a little backstory on Sniper and how that's your nickname and who all is involved in that.
So my 8U West Raleigh baseball team, we were all making an Instagram.
At 8 years old?
At 8 years old.
Love it.
Yep.
Okay.
And somebody by the name of Penn Seeley, it was his idea. He was the founder of the Sniper.
Okay.
Sniper Motive, and everybody just picked something. I went the Sniper Willie, and then there's a Sniper Como, there's a Sniper Hoagie, there's a Sniper Seeley.
I'm assuming Sniper Seeley's Penn.
Yes.
So does everybody still use these nicknames up until this day? Like, is this a common theme?
Yes.
And you guys all stay in contact?
Yes.
I love it. And is it like a Call of Duty type thing, or?
No, nothing promoting violence or anything. It's just
Gotta get that out there. Yeah.
Straight up.
All right. Cool, man. No, I love it. Dom, we were talking just a minute ago.
Yep.
Why don't you delete your emails? It really bothers me a little bit.
Honestly, I never made the habit to. I look at my phone and I get too many emails a day to delete, and I don't feel like doing it. So.
Fair. All right.
And I don't think I'll start.
I had to get that out of the way now.
Yeah.
So you guys are kind of like original Be Young athletes in your own way. I want to ask both of you guys, and whoever wants to start, go for it. You know, what's the history like, being here? How the place has changed, grown. What were your all's first experiences in here? What brought you in here, that type of thing. So whoever wants to start, go ahead.
I think I first came in here when the Apex.
Go ahead, put that night. Yeah,
we'll get that
close
close.
to that thing.
When the Apex location first opened up, I was probably around 13 years old, and I was dealing with some shoulder spasm stuff. So
13, that takes you back to what, 2016,
16, I think.
2016. Okay.
Yeah. But so then my mom was looking at places I could go, and then I think she found Be Young, and then we went there. I saw Brandon, got some needles, dry needles, and pretty much fixed the problem. And then, I came back to him once I was having issues later on in my career in high school, and I just kind of been able to see this place when this facility was bought and you guys moved in here, and just seeing how it grew, and now it's a lot of people come here, and now there's a Wake Forest location. It's really cool to see, because it just started with that one small location, and now it's here.
Love it. Maddie, what do you got?
Mine was also in the Apex location. I remember my father and we went to have a meeting with Brandon, and
Was it for PT type stuff, pitching, or?
it was more pitching development type stuff. And
when did you say that was? What year?
I'm trying to think. I don't know exactly.
Okay.
I want to say it was sophomore, junior year of high school.
Okay.
I want to say. But, I remember him going over the 8 cylinders and all that. And, ever since then I've been training here except for one summer. But, my time here's been well spent, and I think I've drastically improved from it. So.
Love it. Kind of alluded
Train
to
at Be Young.
Thanks, Maddie. You guys, Matt, you kind of alluded to it. Obviously, you were a Holly Springs legend in high school. I just met with some of your coaches, actually, and they had nothing but awesome things to say about you. What were your, your memories like there, and what do you remember most about high school? And I think you guys were in the playoffs every single year, right?
Yep. We did. High school was very fun. It's probably the best time stint of my life so far. Still really close with a lot of my friends from high school, and I was blessed to be able to have a lot of good teachers and coaches that really cared about you there. Because I know some people in college, they didn't really necessarily like their baseball coaches or just had problems with them, but
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about my baseball coach and my basketball coach over there at Holly Springs.
Yeah, they were mentioning you played basketball, and there was, I don't know if you know, but there was a couple college scouts that came to watch somebody else play, but then they saw you play, and we'll offer this guy a scholarship here.
Yes.
Is that a truth? Can you validate that?
True story. Yes.
Do you know what school it was?
It was at Panther Creek, and it was UNCW.
Yep. Okay. I just want to make sure that they told you or that you knew about that.
Yeah, I knew about it.
I didn't know if they were hiding that from you to just continue to play baseball or whatever, but I thought that was pretty cool to hear. And we talk about it a lot here, but play other sports. I think that's so important. Matt, you played a little bit of football too back in your day, didn't you?
Yes.
He's a sport athlete.
Yeah. Dom, were you?
Mm-hmm.
No. Okay.
I did a little track back in
Oh,
when
okay.
I was
Well, that
10.
still plays. That still
Yeah.
is a different sport.
I was
but,
really good at baseball.
Yeah. No,
Pretty much.
you couldn't play any other sports?
I wasn't aggressive enough for football, and plus I was small when I was younger. And then basketball, I just didn't want to get into.
That's
so.
fair. No, I think obviously football's different. It's a contact sport, but play other sports, learn different movements, learn different parts of the game that you might not get from just baseball. So I think Matt, you're kind of a testament to that, and just being a good athlete overall. Dom, let's transition to you a little bit as far as your high school experience. You just
Yeah.
kind of mentioned that you were smaller, and
Well,
I believe you started off at Cardinal Gibbons, correct?
Yeah, I did, and Willie shoved it down our throats the first 2 years. It might have been my sophomore year. I remember, I think you came in to close, and it was just lights out. And then, yeah.
I don't think he had a bad outing in high school from what I
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
No, there was definitely a few in there.
Definitely.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I heard, man.
started out my first 2 years at Cardinal Gibbons, and I think I went in at like 5'3", 120 something pounds.
As a
and-
freshman?
Yeah, and
Late bloomer.
yeah, late, very late.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't start growing until my junior year, which my junior year I went to Pro 5,
Okay.
and I spent my junior, senior.
So you went that early. I thought it was just your senior year.
Yeah,
and then
no, I went junior, senior, and then I did a post-grad year there.
yeah.
And my junior year, I started growing, and I started dealing with like elbow growth pain.
Yeah.
And that eventually turned into like UCL stuff. And then from there, I pretty much had the UCL repair, and then came back and just throwing a little bit harder once I was training with Brandon and
Yeah.
getting in here a lot. And then
That's awesome.
that's kind of where I was able to get looks at for college.
Speak a little bit on Pro 5, obviously being one of the premier academies, and just what did you learn there? How were the coaches? I mean, what was, obviously you go from playing at a high school where you have, all the normal things about a public school, right? There's so many different moving parts, but then all of a sudden you go to Pro 5 where you have a place to practice every morning.
Mm-hmm.
You're in there with guys that have a lot of big league experience,
Yeah.
like-minded individuals that want to play the next level. What was your experience there, and how do you think it kind of formed you as a player going forward?
I think it raised my game a lot because not only are you practicing more, you're getting used to the whole college setting almost, because the way my classes were set up, I was going to a building and I would have maybe 2 classes a day, and it would be kind of, I would go in there at the times and mix in practice and lift. So that part of the Pro 5 experience was really helpful, because then once I got to college, it was
Prepared you for
pretty
it.
natural to me.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, the competition you play, the conference is, top notch for high school.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of D1 players and guys that get drafted out of that conference. So it was really helpful for me to like compete at the highest level I could at that age. So, and it really prepared me for college.
Who else did you play with? Just name some guys as far as that have played at D1 level or pro level. Who was all on those teams?
Yeah, I mean, on my team, we had Eli Serrano, who's at state with us, and
Yep.
then Ryan Clifford, who's playing pro ball right now.
He's just got traded, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think he I saw he hit a bomb in his first at
Yeah,
bat,
dude, that kid, he can mash, man. He
Yeah.
was in here doing some lives. The swing's there, the juice is obviously there.
Yeah.
And, he's a good hitter.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as other guys we played against, I'm trying to remember some names. I know there was a lot of like SEC guys that, came out of the other academies, and a decent amount of draft guys too. So I mean, it was good competition for high school ball.
Did that did COVID affect you at all? And Matt, we'll kind of get into that here with state, but for in high school, where did that 2020 year do for you? And was that around the time of you going into Pro 5, or was it during Pro 5?
It was during my first year, so we were in like the spring of my junior year, which would have
Okay.
been that was my first year of Pro 5.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think I was rehabbing from, I did like rest and recovery, and it kind of during that throwing process, it didn't really feel good. So after that, I ended up having surgery. But COVID kind of it wasn't terrible for me because I was already injured, and it kind of just gave me more time to
Yeah.
rehab and get stronger and come back throwing harder.
Right. So Matt, kind of going off of that, you were at state during the COVID stuff. What did that change for you guys? Because the whole season was just canceled, right?
Right.
And kind of walk me through how the eligibility stuff goes now. I know there's a lot of guys that have been in college for a few more years, or a year more than what it's been in the past. So you're going into your 5th year,
Right.
and you're a COVID senior,
Yes.
right? That's like technically what it's called.
That's what it shows up on the TV. COVID senior. Yeah.
COVID senior.
COVID
That's
senior.
so weird that's how it's affected. What has that process been like for you? Because that would have been your 2nd year or 1st year?
That was the first year, freshman year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that impacted your development at all, or anything like that? Just kind of going through a full fall, and then all of a sudden, we go into the season, you're excited, it's your first full year, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're done. We're not playing.
Yeah. I think if I were to have played that season, I mean, I would have had a little bit more experience. But other than that, I mean, as long as you use the time off wisely to train and get better, I mean, as long as you're not doing anything,
Yeah.
then yeah.
Right. So, like, I know that off season for you was big, that 2020 going into 2021, and I want to talk about it a little bit. That was when I believe I met you.
Yes.
And you were in here throwing pens and stuff, and I was obviously extremely impressed just with the overall athleticism and how you're able to spin it in your changeup. And I know that's probably what you're known for now, is the changeup, and that's kind of been your go-to. And that was something for me. I remember we were in a pitch design thing. That was back when we had the Rapsodo, and you started throwing it. I was like, dude, what the hell is that? Do you throw that? And you're like, no, not really. It's like, dude, you need to go tell your coach to throw that every freaking pitch.
Yeah.
What for you, like, what do you remember about that off season, and how you kind of took that into 2021?
Yeah, I remember just throughout high school, I never really. I mean, I had a changeup, but it wasn't really.
We didn't need to use it because you were blowing guys away at 91 or whatever it was. And,
Yeah, it was more so just fastball, curveball,
Yeah.
and then slider a little bit. But I feel like I wasn't really comfortable with my changeup, and then once we started to work on it over the off season, I got more and more comfortable with it, and then started throwing it pretty much every day during catch, and then ever since then, it's just took off since then.
Yeah, no, I remember, like, vividly just watching it, like, all right, dude, we got a weapon, we got to use it, we got to use it a lot.
Yeah.
So I like those type of things. That's what makes my job fun, is identifying, during those sessions, pitch design, whatever, things that you guys can kind of implement in your game. So for me, I remember that, and it fired me up a little bit, just, thinking about it and all that. So we go into 2021. You guys get to go to Omaha. That was 2021, right?
Yeah.
And I know you've probably been asked this a lot, and it sucks to talk about. What happened? I mean, like, you don't have to give me full details, obviously. There's probably some confidential things that state needs to keep close to state. But, what all went down? What was that like for you? What was the mood like in the locker room? How did the coaches handle it? That type of thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of a little bit of a blur now. I mean, I still remember a good amount of it,
Yeah.
but I just remember about to start the game against Vanderbilt, our second game after
what-
Sam Highfield shoved it up their butt.
Is this the semifinal
Uh,
or is this the
this was a semifinal,
okay?
I believe.
So
Yeah.
Sam Highfield shoves.
Sam Highfield shoved it, and then we were on pace to play Vanderbilt again, and I was supposed to start that game.
Yeah.
And I was going through the warm up and everything, and then they called me and about, I don't know, it was me and like 10 other guys maybe that haven't had their vaccine yet, and we were just put into a room in the back of the lockers and just told to wait there for about an hour or so.
All together.
Yeah, so we were all
Okay.
sitting there not really knowing what's going on, and we had a TV in there and we were watching it on the news. It was like breaking news.
Wait, hold on. So you guys didn't even know about it yet, and you
We didn't
found
know
out on the
anything.
TV?
Yep,
I didn't know that.
yep,
Wow.
yep.
Okay.
And then a guy came in, took us on a bus to some other hotel where we
you
had
have no
to
idea
get.
what's going on.
No, we had no idea what's going on. And then we walked in and we all sat in these chairs like these, like 6 feet apart, and
Of course, had to be.
6 feet apart. Yep. And then we all got COVID tested. I don't remember if anybody actually tested positive then, but as we were getting COVID tested, we were in a hotel and there was glass windows. There was like a little grass area with a big screen showing the game. So we were literally just watching it through a glass window.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that sucks.
Yeah. And then
What
yeah.
How did somebody like? Was there close contact or something like that? Like what all happened? Like was it? Hey, was it more of like he said she said type deal where like, hey, this guy was out at this time, or I don't even really remember the rules back then. I feel like it was a different time, but
I think they were just making up rules as they went.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't
that's
even
kinda-
remember
yeah.
who got it first, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. Once somebody tested positive, then that's when it all went downhill.
it's crazy, man.
And then they found 3 or 4 more new positives, and then we got told to send home the next day. So
It sucks. And I remember watching that because I was actually still playing at the time, and we were in the clubhouse watching, and we kind of found out the same way. You know, as we're watching the World Series, breaking news. You know, NC State got what's the right term? Sent home. And I remember just texting you like, dude, I'm so sorry. That's awful.
yeah,
You know, and it's like, you guys had enough players to compete though, right?
yeah,
So what was?
13.
I know again it was still very new on how we were trying to deal with things, but like, what was the NCAA's reasoning for all that?
Oh God, reasoning for
Sending y'all home.
More of a chance of getting COVID
Yeah,
if you're not vaccinated, I guess.
like you said,
I don't know.
they were kind of making stuff up as we went. You know, it
Yeah.
was a very strange time for everybody, and
But we still put up a good fight though.
yeah, you did.
Still put up a good fight.
You did.
Garrett Payne, shout out to Garrett Payne. He pitched
still
very
playing
well. Yeah, he's still there.
Sam Highfield 2 hits off of Kumar Rocker.
So he
Yep.
was a two-way, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't hit. that
He
season.
came to state as a 2-way, but I mean, his number got called and he showed out. So
Yeah, no, he's a legend. I know that we'll have a statue maybe of all you guys one day, but I know he's in the consideration too. I know you went there as a two-way as well, Maddie. Kind of transition here. Let's get out of that. Why don't you hit anymore? I heard you're a pretty good shortstop. What happened?
it's a tough subject. I mean, I was all right. I thought I was okay at shortstop hitting.
Yeah.
But doing 2-way in college and actually focusing on both of them at the same time was really a struggle for me. I mean, it was hard.
It's hard just to be a student athlete doing one thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I remember the first time I pitched in college was against Minnesota, or not against Minnesota, but it was at Minnesota, and we were in a little preseason tournament, and I go up there. I'm coming in after Chris Villeman. I think we were winning like
You were starting at the time?
No, I came in the bullpen.
Okay.
And I came in after Chris Billman, very first appearance, and Patrick Bailey was the catcher at the time.
In the show now.
In the show now, Giants.
Yep.
But our signs were some sort of like addition, subtraction, all this like touches on the chest and everything.
Yeah.
And being a two-way my first season, I wasn't responsible enough, and because when we would go over the signs, I'd be taking ground balls at shortstop, and I guess I had missed the signs that day, and I had no idea what I was throwing up there.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out there, chewed me out.
Who did? Bailey
Patrick.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
What are you doing, man? I'm sitting there like, I didn't know what the signs were.
I'm used to just a 1 or a 2.
Yeah. But yeah.
Now we got the electronic ones.
Yeah, you guys. I want to.
Now it's a lot easier.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to ask Dom, as we kind of move into your career so far at State.
Yes.
I want to ask though, what are those? Either one of you guys, what are those bands like? I mean, outside looking in, it makes a lot of sense, but then it's like it's not traditional, so it's obviously different. And I'm sure a lot of the, casual baseball fans or State fans or whoever maybe not know what's actually on your wrist and what y'all are getting. So what is that?
I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just the first number. It's 3 numbers, but the first number is the pitch, second number is the location, and then third number is the swipes.
So you get do you get like a buzz or you
Yeah,
get,
there is a buzz, and then it pops up with the numbers. So it'll be like 1-3 would be fastball outside.
So you'll get buzz for
Yeah.
a fastball. You look down and you said 3's outside.
Or it'd be, you get a buzz for every pitch, and then it's like the first number is the pitch. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, or 4, and
So the buzz is the pitch.
yes.
So 1 buzz is fastball.
It always buzzes once, I think.
Yeah, it always buzzes,
Oh,
but
so
there,
it's like it's
Yeah, yeah,
activating.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
get a buzz. You
and
look
then there'll be a
down,
number.
You'll get a 1, and then a whatever. A 2.
Yeah, it'll be a 1, like 2, or 1-3, 1-1.
For a guy like you that pitches up,
Yes,
what is it?
pretty much just throw up. And
Does you
one-
have like you just get a 1 and then like a?
I'll get like the same thing. Like I get a lot of 1-3s, which is fastball outside, but they pretty much made sure I know that they want me throwing
Yeah, that's-
up in the zone
yeah,
no matter
yeah.
what. So if I can
Okay.
get it outside and up, then it's fine.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's
It really
just don't
for
miss
you.
down. Really,
Yeah.
that's kind of my thing.
And what we talk about too, is like let your ball do what it wants to do.
Yeah.
Let your throw be your throw. Don't try to. Like, if you're a guy like you, Dom, that has an elite heater that plays up, let it play up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Don't try to do anything cute with it. Matt, what'd you see from Dom's freshman year, or something that you maybe as a freshman look back on and say, I wish I would have done this better? And how do you kind of help the younger kids kind of get acclimated to college baseball?
Yeah, so in case y'all didn't know, Dom Fritton has a really good fastball.
A little bit.
And
It's not bad.
yeah, I actually told my girlfriend that him and Isaiah Barquette were my 2 most favorite freshmen on the team.
Okay.
I thought Dom was humble and
No, and sorry to the other guys that are hearing that.
yeah, but I love you all, but yeah, I don't know. It was fun watching him over the season. Blowing fastballs by pretty much any hitter that was in the box. He had that type of dog mentality where whoever's in that box standing across from him is not getting on base.
Yeah.
And that's something I really admired about him. I loved watching him play this year.
Dom's blushing a little bit.
I always blush.
So what did you learn from this freshman year for you, Dom? Did you think it'd be that easy? And I don't mean that in the sense of like you went out and obviously you had some outings that probably weren't perfect, but like you had a really successful freshman year, and Maddie, you had a very similar experience where you did well your first full year. So has that changed the way you look at things? Did that speed up the process of you learning how to pitch in the ACC, or what did you kind of take away from the early success you had?
I think it kind of showed how, if you work and are really like determined to get better, you'll be more successful most of the time. And pitchability wise, I think I did learn a lot. I need to be able to land curveballs early in the count, or pretty much at any point in the count, or any off-speed pitch.
Right.
And I think in high school, my fastball always played So I think the biggest thing for me was just figuring out how to pitch and not just. I don't want to just rely on my fastball, even though it's really good. I want to be able to have other pitches that I can throw
Yeah.
and get guys off that pitch, because I mean if they know it's coming, sooner or not they're gonna hit it.
Right.
So,
And I mean, at the end of the day, like, obviously pitching at NC State, I'm sure it was a dream for both you guys, but you guys want to get to the next level and pitch it
yes.
in pro ball and hopefully get to the big leagues one day,
Mhm.
right? I think that's possible for both of you guys, just with the attributes you guys have and ability to have some outlier pitches, right? Both of you, Matt, with the changeup and able to spin it, and Dom with the heater, you can do whatever you want with it, whenever you want with it. So, obviously the accolades, they speak for themselves. What was your favorite one you got this past year? I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. What meant the most
mean, like,
to Dom
awards?
Fritton? Yeah. What meant the most to you?
I think
I don't know, man. Yeah.
doing the USA team was fun.
Yeah.
I wasn't really able to do much there, but just being able to be a part of that training camp and meeting all the guys from other schools, and that was the most fun. I mean, all the freshman team awards, those are really cool, but I mean, I don't like to dwell in the past and like what happened this past year. Like,
Good or bad, right?
yeah, I want to look at what I can do better and hopefully be able to come back next year and
Yeah.
have a better season than last year.
How'd you find out that you had the opportunity to play with USA baseball? What was that experience like for you? I know Coach Chrysler was part of that as well,
Yeah.
as a pitching guy. So what did that feel like? What were the emotions that kind of went through and those type of things?
It was really cool for me because I remember doing the NTIS stuff when I was younger and
Yeah.
doing all those trials, but I never made the team. But it was just I always enjoyed doing those, just being able to meet guys from all over the country. And so it was really cool for me. It kind of felt like I was 12 years old again, playing in the NTIS.
Being
tournament.
from here too, where
Yeah,
USA baseball is
yeah.
kind of stationed at.
Very close to home, and I drive by the complex many times. When I was at Pro 5, we would work out up in North Raleigh, so I would drive past the field every time, and it was really cool to be able to represent your country and your school. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, Joey, I got logged out of Chris's laptop. 0720. Joey's able to edit, so we're good. Don't worry, that's not going to be in there. Huh? Yeah, I'll be good actually. I think he deserves that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Dom, you kind of established your role on a Sunday, right? And then, for whatever reason, during the season, you transitioned into a bullpen role.
Yeah.
What did you take from that? What was that experience like? Because obviously, like, you get into the routine, and all of a sudden, hey, the team needs you out of the back end of the bullpen, or whatever the reason may be. What did you learn, and how is that transition period for you? And did you like either one more?
I think I definitely like starting more, just because you get 6 days of rest, and then just the mental part. It's easier to like refresh and then be ready for your next outing.
Right.
Out of the bullpen, it was definitely like a change for me that I had to get used to. I think there were some key things that I learned. Like as a starter, I think sometimes I started off kind of slow. Like I wouldn't be in the zone as much as I needed to be. So I think coming out of the pen helped me to like go after guys immediately, and my velocity jumped a little bit out of the pen. So
Yeah.
I
More
think
adrenaline.
that showed. Like it's in there. So, but I definitely like starting more just because you have more time. But
No doubt.
I think I can incorporate what I've learned from the pen to become a better starter, though. So
What did you take away? Kind of what you said, or
yeah, getting out of tough situations too is huge. Especially for a starter.
Yeah.
Because you get put in tough situations more often than not. So it's to be able to get out of those tough situations is really helpful.
Yeah. Maddie, I know you kind of mentioned too that you were doing some stuff in the pen early on, right?
Yeah.
So what's your take on that? Like, obviously I would imagine you like starting better because you've done it for however many years there and
Yeah.
have closing in on some record. What are you closing in on again, record-wise? It's okay. You can say it.
And not that I'm keeping tally or anything, but
Not that. Yeah.
I don't know. If I get a certain amount of strikeouts this year and a certain amount of starts, then it'll be somewhere in the record books.
It's pretty cool, man. That's a huge honor, like for you, and it just I think what impresses me most about you, Maddie, is how long and how sustainable and how consistent you've been, right? Like, not a lot of guys. People can catch lightning in a bottle, and they can have one great year, right? And I mean, ACC baseball is one of the highest levels of college baseball that there is, but for you to do it over 4 years now is pretty special. What do you think has kind of allowed you to have that success over that long period of time?
Shoot. I'd probably just say never really taken any time off,
Okay.
to be honest. I mean,
What does that entail? Like, you mean like from a throwing perspective in the weight room?
no, not throwing, but more so, yeah, more so just like staying active and that's a tough question. I don't know. Consistent.
You just have it. You just got it like that. Matt just has it like that.
Oh no.
No, but it is. I'm not just like trying to ask hard questions, but it is a real thing, right? Like I said, there's so many dudes out there that can have one great year, right? And then it just kind of falls off, or they're pretty good, but you've been a mainstay in that weekend rotation, and we'll kind of get into this, but without your best stuff, especially this past year, right? And still pitching and getting guys out at a pretty high clip, So it's not me trying to ask you a hard question. That's just me being honest with you and saying it's very impressive.
I think a lot of it actually comes to a mentality standpoint of where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I know I want to end up in the big leagues, the highest level of competition possible.
Sure.
So if you have a good year, why stop? Why working hard? Why not keep going and try and get better and better every single year?
No, that's great. I think that's a mindset all you guys need and to continue to have. Dom, what did you learn most from like the older guys on the team? Was there like a one moment that kind of stuck out to you, or did Matt say something one time to you that like really stuck with you as like an old veteran?
Come on.
Yeah. No pressure here, Dom.
I mean, me and Matt played catch a little bit earlier in the spring, and
Was he your throwing partner all year or no? Just a
no,
little
my
bit?
throwing partner kind of got moved around because I was in different groups throughout the whole
Got
year.
it,
So,
okay.
but I know me and Maddie were playing catch at one point, and I remember asking him how he throws his changeup, and
How'd that go?
I think he pretty much told me like playing catch with it as much as possible. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's something I've been trying to do. So I mean, I think I like to look at the older guys to, pick their brains on what I could do to,
Yeah.
improve at something. Noah Souls early in the season was kind of like my hype man when I was coming back in the dugout. He would, because I think after my first outing, it was all right, but I was definitely like a little like, there's so much going on that
Yeah.
I couldn't really like. It went by so quick, and I had no idea what just happened. But yeah, I think like the second outing of the season, he was kind of like in there each in between each inning, kind of helping me like lock back in and
Yeah.
go out there and just
Some
get
words
guys
of
out.
encouragement.
Yeah, just like get in the zone, get guys out, like
Love it.
making it simple.
What kind of like, whether it's in the dugout, in between innings, or is it, what do those meetings look like for you guys, but being both starters and on the weekend? What are your scouting reports like? How much in depth do we go for a college baseball weekend in the ACC? What does that look like? Is that something you're allowed to talk about? Or I don't want to give away any secret sauce or anything.
I guess so. Yeah. So the weekend before we play somebody, it'll pretty much be either the day. So say we're playing somebody Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It'll be either Thursday at the end of practice or Friday, like an hour or two before game time, just so you have it fresh on your mind
Yeah.
and remember everything. But Coach Chrysler usually goes over righties, lefties, their sort of tendencies. Certain guy may bunt, how fast one guy is over another, and yeah, stuff in that category.
What do you take away, Dom?
Stuff like that.
I think I look at more like how like how early they're swinging in counts, because those kind of tell us like how aggressive they are. Like they swing like 80% on the first pitch or whatever. So, and like kind of what pitches they hit the most. So then you kind of have an idea of what pitches you can use to get them out.
Yeah.
And I mean the lefty-righty matchups too help, because then like if a guy's more confident against a lefty, then you don't want to miss in a bad spot to him.
What are I know you guys have a analytics department, right? You have a data guy. What's his name again?
Josh Fisher.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how much do y'all utilize him? And because there's some, obviously analytics is such a large part of baseball now. What does it look like at the college level? 'Cause there's so much talk about it from a pro ball and MLB, whatever, but obviously it's being used in college baseball right now.
I think it kind of helps us he'll give us like numbers on like all of our pitches, and you kind of get an understanding of where your pitches stand within the league and within the team, and metric wise, like it's kind of helpful to be able to see like how your pitch plays, like if it's a slider, curveball, like how it's spinning, and the movement, and it kind of helps us to know when a batter gets in the box, like how are they going to react to it. So
Right.
But I mean ultimately it like really determines on how it plays in game. So yeah, I like the analytics, but yeah, it's definitely important to
Yeah.
show it on the field.
Especially with you guys wanting to pitch at the next level, like it's such an integral part of what organizations do, top to bottom, basically now. It's good to be, acclimated somehow to it. What do you take away from it, Maddie? What is like, obviously we did a lot of work in here, pitch design wise, not too long ago, and we continue to, and we'll get into that here in a second. But going over those analytic meetings with your coach, what do you learn, and what is your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, I think it's very important to analytics, like knowing your like the spin and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, spins and swing and miss it in this count versus cold zones, hot zones.
Oh, yeah.
Those type of things.
I think that's really important. I think if you're pitching at this level, you can't really just go out there and just throw. You got to go out there with a game plan and a mindset of what you're going to do that day. Again, what type of tendencies the team has, and that type of stuff. So yeah.
And is that something that you're actively thinking about during the start, or is it more like, hey, I know my catcher's locked in on that, I don't want to worry about it, I want to just attack, and you just kind of go with whatever?
Yeah, just focusing on one pitch at a time. Never really think. There's some times where I don't even know who's hitting back there.
Good thing.
That's me.
You just know it's a righty, it's a lefty.
I can't. Some guys can like remember everything that happened within a start. I'm just kind of.
Yeah.
I take it one pitch at a time, and
Good.
because I feel like if I know who's hitting, or if it's like some big hitter that steps in, I don't want to be afraid of a guy. I want to go after him, and just like he's any other person. But
Yeah. No, for sure. I think that especially once you guys do get to that level at the big leagues where
everybody's good.
you have Mike Trout in there, or Aaron Judge, and it's like, I don't want to think about that. I want to think about executing, and that's a lesson for everybody. I don't care if you're in Little League or in the big leagues, right? Like if you're in Little League right now and, Joey is your best hitter in the league and he comes up, don't worry about Joey so much. Worry about making a pitch and getting dudes out.
Yeah.
So.
And that was one of the biggest things for me going into college is, I came in the fall and I remember seeing like all these guys on TV last year, and I was like, I feel like I wanted my mentality, like I wanted to put these guys like, oh, they're up here and I'm here, I'm just a freshman. But one of the things that like, the coaches like talked to me about was kind of like, don't come in here and think that just because you're a freshman you can't do anything. Like you can be a huge part of this team, and if you believe that, then it can really happen. So I think that's just one of the things mentally you got to realize that if you think you're with everybody else, then you can compete.
I'm sure they use that example of Carlos Rodon, like where he came in his freshman year, Matt, Holly Springs alumni, and just dominated everybody and set the college baseball world on fire. And to have that success as a freshman, do they use that like kind of story to kind of prove like, hey, I don't care how old you are, like you come in here and you're a dude, you're gonna pitch?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've really heard Rodon comparisons, but
I'm not. You know what I'm saying though, like that he came in, shoved, and it kind of opened the door for true freshmen to be able to have a high impact.
Yeah, I mean, I think Avent really gives a he makes sure to give freshmen opportunities, and
That's big.
I think he loves to see, the younger guys like succeed and be able to help the team win.
That's good. No, I love it. Kind of moving on here, Maddie. Let's talk about this past season for you. How'd it go for you? I know, and kind of I alluded to it, the stuff wasn't what it should be, right? But I think you showed a lot about your character and going out there and taking the ball every Saturday, right? And just competing your ass off. Because a lot of people, I think, would get discouraged by, I'm not throwing as hard as I have in the past, or this, that, or and the other, right? But you went out there and still were able to succeed at a pretty high level. So what did you learn about yourself this past year?
Yep. I remember going out there first weekend. I believe it was against Wagner. But I looked at
I was
one
there
of
for that game.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. I looked at one of the first few pitches, and it was like 86 or 87, something like that, and I didn't like it at all. But it was just something I had to push through and know that I can improve on this part of my game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard to do that during a season. But I just had to be really strategic with the way I pitched this past year. Can't miss any fastballs down the middle because they're going to go a long way.
Yeah.
If you're throwing it up right. But yeah.
Sorry, we got a flyover right now. Yeah, so like kind of, and we'll get into more detail about this, obviously. Joey, will this won't air before the post on Friday, will it? Probably not. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll figure it out. But we have a really cool story for you coming up, Matt. Obviously, you worked your butt off this summer, and the results are starting to show. The velo, spoiler alert's been back up to 93, and I saw the look on your face and how just relieved you were to be like, okay, shoot, I still can do that. What was that feeling like? And again, we'll kind of get into detail with what all we did to some extent, on that post and those things. But what did you learn from this summer? And what was the feeling like that last week when you were able to finally get back up to 93 after being as low as 84? And I hate calling you out, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It is what it is, yep. After I was told that I hit 93 in the live ABs last week, I actually kind of wanted to cry because I
thought you might have, dude. I really did.
Because I didn't know at the time when I was throwing. I wasn't asking, but.
No, well, I feel bad, and I'll just disclosure here. Matt kind of was looking back, trying to get velo. I was like, oh, it was good. It was 88, man. And I could tell he was like, damn it, really? That's it? I'm ripping this right now. Why is this only 88? And obviously I was messing with him to see if I can get a little bit more, and we sat 91, 92 and touched the 3. Sorry, I had to let people know that's what happened.
Yep. Yeah, it was a very big sigh of relief, I guess you could say, because, there were times during the season where I was thinking, like, gosh, I'm just stuck here. I don't know what I'm going to do. I feel like I'm trying as hard as I can. It's still not coming out like I want it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel slow on the mound. But, I came here and trained with B. Young over the summer, and I've learned so many new things. I think a big thing for me was getting that nervous system in check and moving weight fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a really big thing that started to get my fast twitch muscles back a little bit, and I'm excited for this season.
Good, man. Well, I don't want to say I was happier than you, because obviously I'm sure you were ecstatic, but just to see the look on your face and to see like that belief was back and you trusted what we were doing. Obviously, probably a lot of it didn't make sense during it. You're probably like, why the hell am I doing this many different things?
Yeah.
It's hot. Like, I'm tired. What am I doing? But you kept showing up every single day. You worked your butt off, and you set example for a lot of these kids in here. Obviously, you decided to come in for the later window, so a lot of these kids looked at you as you were kind of a superstar, which you are. You're a legend around here. And you were great to them, and I think not only did we get better and we got the velo back to where it needed to be, but I think you made a really positive impact on a lot of these kids and helped them out along the way. Is that something you were cognizant of, or is that just who you are as a person?
A little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really feel like being mean to people is
A good thing.
a good thing, I guess. Obviously,
Yeah.
yeah. I try to treat everybody with respect around here. I know some of these kids may look up to me, and I just got to make sure I set a good example and kind of lead them on the path of success.
Yeah.
So
Well, you definitely did that, man. A lot of positive experiences and positive feedback I've gotten from all these guys in here. Obviously, we love having you in here, man. So excited for you and excited for both of you guys, really. You know, I think you guys have a chance to be a pretty special unit this year. Weekend rotations returning. Pretty much everybody's returning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
except for a couple bullpen guys.
Yeah.
So this is something I have to ask, and I've asked everybody, and we're not going to have to get into details with you guys as individuals, but transfer portal, obviously it can kind of mess with the team chemistry. From an overall team perspective, how do you guys look at that now? Does that change how you look at teammates, ex-teammates? Is there anything that has changed outlook on what a team really is?
I have mixed feelings about it because I think there are like some good with it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some teammates that left because they weren't getting the opportunities that they felt like they
Sure.
needed, and they wanted to go somewhere that they feel like they could get those opportunities. So I feel like for that purpose, the transfer portal is good. It has become more of a market now, so I'm not sure how I feel about it yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, college baseball is a business. So.
Well, it just happened for you guys so fast.
Yeah.
And once you guys get to pro ball, you'll see it's similar, right?
Yeah.
But like all of a sudden, overnight, I can get hundreds of thousands of dollars, or I can go play somewhere else, or I can get this deal with this car dealership, or whatever it is. Like it literally happened overnight for you guys. Like,
Yeah.
And you, Maddie, you've seen it probably more than Dom, obviously, because you were there longer. Than all of a sudden, here we are in this weird world of Wild West baseball, where it's a free for all, basically.
Cutthroat.
Yeah. I feel like it's easy to make an opinion on somebody if they transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, a typical State fan about Tommy White transferring last year. I feel like a typical reaction was just like, oh, screw that guy.
Right.
I never want to see him again. Hope he doesn't do well. But I hope the best for him. And he was an icon over here at NC State.
Tommy Tanks, man.
Tommy Tanks.
Well, he's the icon at LSU now.
Well, yeah,
Rightfully so.
rightfully so. But all respect to him
Yeah.
and Cannon Peebles.
Yeah. No, and like you said, I think it's really good for guys that need opportunities, and you go to college to play baseball, not necessarily watch baseball.
Yeah.
So for guys that need it and to play, like, I think it's fantastic. And obviously there's circumstances here or there that you have to look at it from a family perspective and what makes the most sense and all that. There's so many different moving parts. I guess what I was asking is, you guys have new teammates that are coming in now.
Yeah.
How is there anything in the locker room that changes how you look at, a guy that might be going into his junior year and you only have him for potentially only 1 year? I mean, is that something different? I mean, obviously it's different, but how do you guys, as Maddie, especially you as a fifth-year guy, like, obviously you're going to welcome him to the locker room, but how does that look like?
I mean, I don't really think it's anything different. Just treat him like everybody else. Excited that he came here, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the quicker you guys, obviously, I don't know how long it's going to be like this, the whole transfer portal thing. I don't think this isn't sustainable, I don't think.
Yeah.
But, time will tell, boys.
Yeah.
Time will tell. And all you guys can do is continue to be the best teammates you can. And like you said, Maddie, welcome guys wherever they're coming from. And, I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are trying to win a natty,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So if they're going to be there to help you guys win a natty, then so be it.
Right.
What can we expect from y'all this year? Obviously, like we kind of talked about, the whole team's coming back. You guys have a really, really strong foundation, especially on the weekend rotation. What does the lineup look like, the bullpen? What can we expect from the state boys this year?
Honestly, it's a little too early for me to tell
Yeah.
because I haven't even seen or talked to a lot of these transfers yet.
Yeah.
I haven't moved into my apartment yet, but yeah, I think you can expect some good stuff in 2024.
I love it. Dom?
I don't think it matters who comes in. I think it's, how fast you can make that team bond. And I think if we're able to, like get it going immediately once everybody gets on campus, I think we're in for a good year.
Good. I want to leave it with this, Matt. This is a question I wanted to ask you earlier. That 2021 team that went to Omaha, what is something that, from a team perspective, you learned and how successful teams need to be, or how to act, or be in the locker room? What was so special about that team?
Everybody just got along. It was like everybody was like brothers. I feel like, me personally, I should have been more involved with players on that team, but I was younger. It was my sophomore year, and I was still a little bit shy. But I wish I would have taken in a little more of those player team experiences and bonded a little more with them. But I feel like I definitely learned a lot, and holding everybody accountable in the locker room, making sure everybody's doing their part. I think that's a big thing.
Cool. Think you got that, Dom?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I got it.
Cool. All right, boys. That was episode 13. A couple of legends. Guys that I would imagine you'd see at the next level at some point, and guys that have been coming here for a long time. I personally love working with both these guys. They work their butts off, and not only are they good baseball players, but they're really good human beings, and I'm honored and very fortunate and blessed to be around these guys every day. So, fellas,
Thank you for having us.
Of course. No, thank you for making this work. So, go get them this year. Have a good fall, and we'll obviously be working very, very close with y'all, throughout the whole entire experience. So, thanks, guys.
Thank you.